Well, let's get to the president of international markets for MasterCard and Cairns. She is with us from Singapore this morning. Anne, good to have you back on the program. What do you think about these expectations coming from the Chinese Commerce Ministry saying that China is going to become the largest online consumer base in 2013?
Well, I think it's fantastic news for China, and I know that I believe China's already the largest user of smartphones in the world, having just taken over from the US on that front. So I think, smartphones is for smart people, basically.
I like that, Anne. That makes sense. So tell me about MasterCard. How are you trying to get into the Chinese market or improve your reach in China? Are you spending more, investing more heavily in the country?
Yes, we've actually just launched Priceless Beijing. MasterCard has priceless city programs all over the world that sort of delight our card users by exposing them to experiences that they can get through using their MasterCard. The Forbidden City, the Wall, etc. And we're very excited about China. And in China, we work very closely with China UnionPay. We have a good relationship with them. So our business is growing very well there.
Yeah, that is quite a monopoly, China UnionPay, isn't it? The payment system in China. Do you see that monopoly breaking up at some point, and maybe MasterCard can basically take care of its own payments network on the mainland?
Well, I think that we'll just have to see how things progress over the years with China. But, in terms of our relationship, we do work with China UnionPay abroad because obviously they have payment capabilities in other parts of the world, and we have a good partnership.
Okay, so what do you say to those that are talking about a hard landing or a slowdown in China? Are you seeing that at MasterCard?
We actually see consumer confidence actually holding up around the world. Actually, even in places like Europe, where you have quite a lot of quite difficult news at the moment, people are still using their cards to buy everyday things. So consumer spending is continuing to grow.
Consumer spending is continuing to grow. What about consumer confidence in the U.S.? As the head of the international business, do you have to make up for the slowdown and the concerns from the U.S. itself? Consumer confidence down, by the way, to a multi-month low overnight.
Yes, but consumer confidence doesn't immediately translate into, consumers stopping spending on everyday things, buying their groceries, putting petrol in their cars, etc., etc. And this is actually what they use their card products for today, for everyday payments. So we don't see that actually slowing down significantly at all yet.
Okay, so can I ask you also about what's taking place in Europe with these banking concerns? And I know MasterCard, you work with financial institutions like HSBC, like the Royal Bank of Scotland, Bank of America. What about banks in Spain? We're talking about, some are talking about a bank run in Spain and Greece. Do you have any concerns there?
Well, you're right. We work with actually 22,000 banks around the world and about 32 million merchants. And so we are connected to most banks in the world, including the big Spanish banks. And I know that you'll have seen in the news that people have been demonstrating in Spain over the weekend. The Greeks are still having trouble forming a government. So there are quite a lot of concerns. And Bankia, the fourth largest Spanish bank, has just been nationalised. But again, we're actually seeing our volumes continuing to hold up in Spain, again, because our products are actually used for everyday life. And what we are doing is we're watching what's happening in the Eurozone very closely, and we're working with the banks in the affected countries to make sure that the risks are properly managed.
Okay, so you don't envision seeing any impact on MasterCard if there, say, God forbid, are some bank runs over on the European side?
Well, of course, we're not going to say that there'll never be any major impact. What we are saying is that we know what's going on. We're working with the banks. We manage the risks, and right now we're not seeing any big effect on consumer spending in the Eurozone.
Okay. And thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your trip across the Asia-Pacific. It's always good to see you. Anne Cairns, MasterCard's head of international business, joining us from Singapore this morning.